Okay, I'm back. This is the second part of the Chapter 3 review. There's just a few questions left. We're working on 20b, which says, what is the width of the arch at its base? So in order to find how wide it is at the base, I would need to know the zeros. So the zeros, or the x-intercepts, happen when y is equal to 0. So if I take my equation and plug in 0 for y, I have negative 7/9 x squared plus 15. I'll be able to solve for my zeros. So take away 15 from both sides. Negative 15 equals negative 7/9 x squared. In order to get rid of the 7/9, I'll multiply both sides by 9 and then divide both sides by negative 7. So these will cancel out, and I'll be left with 135 over 7. Now, in order to get x by itself, I'll take the square root of both sides. But I have to remember that when I take the square root of something, it could be positive or negative. So the square root of 135 over 7 is 4.39. So therefore, my x-intercepts are negative 4.39 and positive 4.39. So if my x-intercepts are happening at 4.39, and negative 4.39, the distance between those two would be 4.39 and another 4.39, which would be 8.78 meters. So therefore, the arch is 8.78 meters wide at the base. All right, number 22. The height of a baseball in meters at time t seconds after it's tossed out of a window is modeled by the function h of t equals negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 15. A boy shoots at the baseball with a paintball gun. The trajectory of the paintball is given by the function g of t equals 3t plus 3. Will the paintball hit the baseball? If so, when? At what height will the baseball be? So my functions are h of t equals negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 15, and g of t equals 3t plus 3. So in order to see if they will collide, I need to check if there's a point of intersection. So I'm going to set them equal to each other because the y value would be the same at that point. So negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 15 equals 3t plus 3. Then I'm going to move everything to one side and combine like terms so that I have an equation in standard form. So negative 5t squared plus 20t minus 3t plus 15 minus 3 equals 0. I'll simplify that, and I'm left with negative 5t squared plus 17t plus 12 equals 0. Now I have an equation in standard form, which I'm going to try to factor. Just looking at it, I'm not able to do that. So I'm going to plug it into the quadratic formula. So t equals negative 17 plus or minus the square root of 17 squared minus 4 times negative 5 times 12. Which leaves me with, divided by 2 times negative 5. Which leaves me with negative 17 plus or minus the square root of 529 divided by negative 10. So my two answers are going to be negative 17 plus 23 divided by negative 10 and negative 17 minus 23 divided by negative 10, which is negative 0.6 and 4. So I have two answers. Now I need to think about the question. So t in this question is time. One of my answers is negative. Time can't be negative. So this solution here is inadmissible, which leaves me with 4 being my correct answer. So the question was, will the paintball hit the baseball? Yes, it will. And when? So that's at time 4 seconds. And at what height will the baseball be? So I know that the time is 4 seconds. So I'm going to take that, and plug it back into my height equation. So h of 4 equals negative 5 times 4 squared plus 20 times 4 plus 15 equals negative 5 times 16 plus 80 plus 15 equals negative 80 plus 80 plus 15 equals 0 plus 15 equals 15. So it will hit the baseball at 4 seconds at a height of 15 meters. All right, number 23. Will the parabola defined by f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 9 intersect the line g of x equals negative 3x minus 15? Justify your answer. And then B says change the slope of the line so that it will intersect the parabola in 2 locations. So I have f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 9, and g of x equals negative 3x minus 5. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for the last one, which is make them equal to each other, because if they intersected, then the y values would be the same at some point. So make them equal to each other, then I'm going to move everything to one side of the equation so that it's in standard form. So x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals negative 3x minus 5. Add 3x to both sides and add 5 to both sides. So x squared minus 6x plus 3x plus 9 plus 5 equals 0. So x squared negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3, and 9 and 5 is 14. Now, I'll be able to tell if it can intersect just by looking at the discriminant. So instead of using the whole quadratic formula, I'm just going to check with the discriminant. So b squared minus 4ac, which would be negative 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 14, equals 9 minus 4 times 14 is 56, which leaves us with negative 47. So as soon as my discriminant is negative, I know that this isn't going to work. It's not going to have a solution. So therefore, no, it will not intersect. Because the discriminant is negative. All right, and then B says change the slope of the line so that it will intersect in 2 locations. So I'm going to take that equation that I just simplified, x squared minus 6x plus, and then I had 3x, but I'm going to change it to m because I need a new slope. I have to check which slope will make it have 2 solutions. So using this as A, B, and C, I'm going to plug that into the discriminant. And in order for it to have 2 solutions, the discriminant has to be greater than 0. So my B value is negative 6 plus m. And that's squared, so I'm just going to write it twice right away. Negative 6 plus m minus 4 times a, which is 1, and c, which is 14. So now I'm left with, and that has to be greater than 0. I'm left with 36 minus 6m minus another 6m plus m squared minus 56. Simplify that to be negative 20 minus 12m plus m squared is greater than 0. And then I'm just going to rearrange it so it's back in the correct order. M squared minus 12m minus 20 is greater than 0. Then I want to factor that. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 20 and add to negative 12. does not work. So I'm going to plug it into the quadratic formula. So m equals negative 12. So it's positive 12 plus or minus the square root of negative 12 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 20 divided by 2 times 1. And when I work through that, my solutions are 13.5 and negative 1.48. So now, if I go back to this step here, and this was factored, it would be m minus 13.5, and m plus 1.48 is greater than 0. So m has to be greater than 13.5, and m also has to be greater than negative 1.48. So, as long as it's greater than negative 1.48, as long as my slope is greater than 1.48, this line will have 2 points of intersection. So you can choose any value for m, like 2 or 6 or 7, anything greater than 1.48. Will give you the slope for 2 points of intersection. So thanks a lot for listening, guys. I hope this helped you. Let me know if there's anything I can improve on. I'm learning too. So hope to see you soon. Mrs. DeJong.